All right, so we're back and ready for another deep dive. This time, we're taking on Squid Game Season 2.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a lot to unpack there.
We've been combing through articles and early reviews, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty, a super quick recap for anyone who hasn't caught up yet. Squid Game is a South Korean drama where contestants, a lot of them in some seriously tough financial spots, play these deadly children's games for a shot at a huge cash prize.
Right, and season 2 really cranks up the psychological intensity of the games. Like, it's not just the physical danger anymore. It's the mental and emotional toll on the players. It's just, wow, brutal.
Totally. And the writers have taken the social commentary from the first season that everyone was talking about and just amplified it.
Big time.
Remember Gi-hun, the guy who won it all in season 1?
Yeah.
He's back, but not for the money this time. He's got this whole mission to expose the organization behind the games and just take him down.
That's interesting, isn't it? Like, the writers could have easily just gone with a whole new cast of characters.
Yeah.
But by bringing back Gi-hun, they can dig into that whole lasting trauma of the games. And the moral, I don't know, like the struggle of someone who's seen all that brutality.
It's like he's battling some serious survivor's guilt, right?
Totally.
Like he needs to fix the things he was a part of. Adds a whole new dimension to him.
For sure, it sets the stage for some really gripping conflicts. He's not just fighting to stay alive anymore. It's something much bigger now.
And those games, man, they've cranked up the intensity there, too. We get a glimpse of red light, green light, just a little tease.
Yeah.
But most of the challenges are completely new, designed to just push the players to their absolute limit.
I gotta say, the creativity in these games is amazing.
Yeah.
Each one feels like a twisted take on like societal pressures and the choices people are forced to make, like when they're under that kind of duress.
It's almost like social commentary, but disguised as entertainment.
Exactly.
Remember that honeycomb game from season 1?
Uh-huh.
It was so simple, but so tense. This season, I don't know how they did it, but they've upped the ante even more. Like there's this one game, I don't want to give too much away, but it involves glass bridges, a whole lot of trust, and some seriously like nail-biting decisions.
That's what's so brilliant about it, right? It's like these games expose the vulnerabilities of the players and just how fragile human trust can be. There's always that sliver of hope, even in the worst situations.
But yeah, it comes at a price, for sure.
Definitely.
And this time, it's not just Gi-hun we're following. There's this whole new cast of characters, each with their own backstory and like reasons for being there. The one that got me was this older woman. She's trying to protect her son, and he's just so obviously in the way over his head.
Their dynamic is like incredibly moving. It shows how far a mother will go to protect her child, even when facing, well, unimaginable danger.
And then there's this rapper. Even in this crazy life or death situation, he's treating the games like some giant party.
Uh-huh, right.
Almost like he's using all that bravado to hide his fear.
That's such an interesting point, though. It shows how differently people cope with extreme stress.
Yeah.
Some people turn inward, others put on this, like, front of strength.
Oh, and there's this trans woman who's just trying to make enough money to start a new life.
Right.
Her story adds another layer to how the show explores social inequality,
For sure.
How marginalized groups are often pushed to take these huge risks just to survive.
It reminds us that these players aren't just fictional characters. They represent real people, real struggles.
But here's where things get really crazy. Remember the front man? The masked guy who runs the games. Turns out he's not just watching this time.
Whoa.
He's actually a player in the game.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah. And get this, it turns out he's In-ho, the Detective Junho's missing brother from the first season.
Seriously? That changes everything.
It totally does.
Yeah.
Like, why would he risk being exposed? What's he trying to achieve?
So many questions.
It makes you question everything you thought you knew about the whole organization behind these games.
It's a brilliant way to keep people guessing. You're never quite sure who to trust.
Right. And then, as if things couldn't get any more intense, they introduced this new thing, voting to leave. After each round, players can vote to end the games completely.
Interesting.
But here's the catch. If they choose freedom, no one gets the prize money.
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
It's this huge moral dilemma. Do you put your own survival first, or do you hold out for that life-changing money knowing others might die trying to get it?
It makes the players face their own values, doesn't it? The weight of their choices.
It leads to some really intense moments, too. Alliances forming, then falling apart. betrayals everywhere.
It's a reflection of what people do when they're desperate, right?
Absolutely.
Do you go for self-preservation or stay loyal? Your own gain or what's good for everyone? These questions go way beyond the games themselves.
It's like this pressure cooker of human drama, and you just get pulled in.
It's incredible how the show can blend those like edge-of-your-seat thrills with social commentary that makes you think.
Exactly. It's not just entertainment. It's like holding a mirror up to our own world.
Totally. It's interesting, right? Like, the games are definitely like the main attraction, but this season kind of goes beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
It explores the world outside of the competition. We follow Detective Jun-ho. He's still desperately searching for his brother.
Right, the front man.
Exactly. And there's this whole new character, a North Korean defector. She ends up caught in the really messed up side of the games.
I was really drawn to that storyline. It's like peeking behind the curtain, seeing how the whole organization operates.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really unsettling is they introduce this organ harvesting operation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like injured players are being targeted, their organs are taken and sold for profit.
That's messed up.
It adds a whole other level of, I don't know, moral complexity to the whole thing, shows how far this organization will go to exploit people. Like, they're not even human to them anymore.
It's chilling. The cruelty goes way beyond the games themselves.
And it raises all these questions about who's involved. Like,
Yeah.
do the guards know what's going on?
Are they part of it or just like following orders?
Exactly. And, some of the reviews we looked at pointed out that these subplots, while interesting, felt a little disconnected from the main story.
I can see that.
It's like they're trying to do too much at once.
Right. And it loses a bit of focus.
Yeah. But, in the end, I think the show's biggest strength is how it makes us talk about these important social issues.
Like how the first season really went after capitalism and inequality.
Absolutely. And this season takes it further with an even more diverse group of characters.
Mm-hmm.
We see how this economic desperation, this exploitation, it affects people from all walks of life.
Doesn't matter where you're from or your social class.
Exactly. And that North Korean defector's storyline, it adds another dimension to that.
Yeah.
It shows these issues are global, how far people will go to escape oppression and poverty.
It's pretty heavy stuff.
And then with the whole voting to leave thing, the players are stuck between like self-preservation and collective action.
Right.
Do they just try to survive or risk it all for something better for everyone? It's like a metaphor for the choices we all face.
It makes you think, would you fight for the greater good? Or would you just protect yourself?
Exactly. And that's what makes this show so powerful. It's not just entertainment. It makes us face these tough questions. It makes us think about the world we live in.
It's not always easy, but it's important.
Definitely. And with all these twists and turns, the things left unresolved, those mind-blowing reveals, I'm really curious to see what happens next in Squid Game. What do you think? What's in store for season 3?
Well, that ending with Gi-hun, I mean, he's obviously not giving up. He's even more determined to bring down this whole organization.
Right. He's seen the front man's true identity now. That changes things.
Yeah, their connection adds a whole new layer to the conflict. And then there's Jun-ho. We still don't know what happened to him.
And the North Korean defector, her story's not over either. It feels like they're setting us up for an explosive third season.
Totally.
I think we can expect even more mind games, more shocking betrayals, maybe even a rebellion from the players themselves.
Yeah.
That voting to leave thing, it opens up a lot of possibilities.
Imagine, like, all the players just refusing to play anymore.
Yeah, it would completely change the
It
game.
would be such a powerful statement about fighting back, about overcoming oppression.
That would definitely fit with the show's message.
Yeah.
Challenging the status quo, fighting for a better world.
It's making me think of other shows that tackle these kinds of big themes.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to do a deep dive on Westworld sometime. It's another one that mixes those sci-fi thrills with some really deep questions, like what is consciousness, free will, what is reality even?
Oh, that's a great choice.
You know?
Westworld is full of symbolism, those crazy plot twists.
Yeah.
And it really makes you think about what it means to be human.
A deep dive on that would be awesome. And for everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What shows or movies would you like us to cover next?
Leave a comment below, and hey, maybe we'll pick your suggestion.
Exactly.
And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, we do more of these deep dives, on all sorts of topics, pop culture, science, history, anything that sparks our curiosity.
We're always exploring something new, trying to bring you the most interesting insights and perspectives.
So stay curious and keep those brains buzzing. Squid Game, I mean, it's just so good at being entertaining and making you think at the same time. Like, you're on the edge of your seat one minute, and the next you're like, whoa, what does this all mean?
Yeah, it's a hard balance to strike. It's not afraid to show the darker side of people, the choices we make, and what happens because of them. But it also gives you those moments of hope.
Yeah, like even in the worst possible situation, there's still some humanity left. That's what makes it so captivating, I think.
It's amazing how much the show's changed since the first season. The games are more intense, the stakes are higher, the characters, they're even more complex now. Seriously. We were all shocked by the twists in the first season, right?
Yeah.
But this season, they took it up a notch. The front man's identity, that whole voting to leave thing, the organ harvesting, like, they kept us guessing the whole time.
Definitely kept things unpredictable, but it all worked. It built on the first season, but pushed the story further, explored new themes.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, what did you think about those storylines that went outside the games?
It was a bold move. I don't think they all worked perfectly, but they did add some depth to the whole world of Squid Game. That story with the North Korean defector, for instance, it shows how far this organization reaches and how desperate people are to get involved.
It reminds you that what Squid Game is about, it's not just a South Korean thing or even just about money problems.
Right.
It's about survival, the choices we make under pressure, how our actions affect others. It's universal.
Exactly. You can connect with anyone, no matter who they are or where they come from. That's what makes it so powerful, for sure. So to everyone out there who's seen season 2, what are your thoughts? What do you think will happen next with the games, with the characters? What stuck with you?
We want to hear your theories. And while you're thinking about that, tell us what other movies or shows you'd like us to take a deep dive into. Leave a comment below. You never know. Your suggestion might be our next episode.
And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got more deep dives coming up on all sorts of topics.
Pop culture, science, history, anything that grabs our attention.
We're always exploring, trying to bring you the most interesting stuff out there.
So stay curious, keep those brains working. And remember, the game is never really over.
Until next time.